Give it up for your next storyteller, Melissa Chamorro.
Thank you. So it's 1 a.m. I'm 30 years old, sitting alone in my East Village apartment, and I decide to watch a YouTube video called How Do You Know You're a Lesbian? The vlogger, who looked like a 13-year-old with a Snapchat addiction, begins to say, how do you know you're a lesbian? Because you're looking up a video called How Do You Know You're a Lesbian? At this point, I look up at my ceiling and for about 3 minutes let out a giant fuck. See, my whole life, I always thought people were exaggerating. You know, I never understood how my friends would want to spend all their time with their boyfriends, or how they would get so upset when they would then break up with that boyfriend and put Sarah McLachlan on repeat. You know, in my opinion, it was like you met one Steve, you've met them all, and you can't get that excited or heartbroken about a guy named Steve anyways, you know? So I just thought people were dramatic and cheesy, and I was more of a pragmatist. And don't get me wrong, I mean, I dated, you know, kissing guys was easy. When I got to college and the expectation was to do more, I just didn't really feel like it. And it wasn't that I was against it. I'd be like, yeah, I'll lose my virginity when I really like someone. The problem is I never really liked someone enough. And foreplay with a guy just would not look forward to it, but it's something you had to do, get it out of the way. But deep down, I thought every girl thought that giving a hand job felt the same as unclogging a toilet with a hand plunger. I mean, you're grabbing onto this piece of wood, not knowing how much pressure you need to apply to get the job done, trying not to look at what's happening, and then when it's finished, you hope you didn't get any backsplash on you. I mean, this is what everyone felt, right? But sure, there were things that would happen that would make the tiny Ellen DeGeneres voice in the back of my head pop up, like whenever my friend would grab my hand to lead me through a crowded club, or when my older sister's blonde friend Amity came to visit and she shared a bed with me and I thought, I have never seen someone so beautiful. Or any time I saw an Ashley Judd movie, like any time. But I could explain that away, you know? I knew what a lesbian looked like and what a lesbian was, and that wasn't me. I mean, I didn't own a Harley Davidson. I liked wearing my hair long, and I did go through that vest period, but none of them were made of leather. So clearly, I wasn't gay. And even if I was gay, but I wasn't gay, but if I was, that wasn't the type of girl I was attracted to anyway. So I wasn't a lesbian, you know? The problem was I just hadn't met the right Steve yet. So fast forward a couple years, I'm 29 years old, living and working in Paris, and I meet this guy, and his name is Steve. And I had known him from before, but he got in touch and he says, I'm moving to Paris to work in a hospital for a year, let's hang out. And this guy was like objectively attractive. He looked like Roger Federer, and anytime I would show his photo to a friend, they'd be like, oh my God, get it, girl. And I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna get that D, and like touch it maybe. But you know, I did find him objectively cute, so I would make out with him, and as soon as we would get in the cab, I would immediately ask for 2 stops. And so we thought it would be a great idea to take a trip to Morocco together for 8 days. And we shared the bed the whole time for the 8 days, and every night when we would turn off the lights, he would big spoon me. And I knew that to make something happen, I just had to turn around. And I would yell at myself in my head. I'd be like, turn around, turn around. Every other girl would turn around. I mean, he's cute, he's handsome, he's a doctor. But then the Ellen DeGeneres voice in my head would scream even louder, get off me. Oh my God, is that a bulge on my lower back? And I am so hot. How does anyone even sleep like this? And I started thinking that maybe that voice was never gonna go away. And I was never gonna meet the perfect Steve unless her name was Stevie. So 9 months after the trip to Morocco, I find myself in a new city, at a new job, sitting in a new apartment at 1 a.m., looking up YouTube videos and taking every possible lesbian self-assessment quiz available on the internet. And the day after that night where I experienced what I could only describe as gay panic, I had to take the plunge into the lady pond, and I changed my gender preference on Tinder to women. 2 weeks after I changed my gender preference on Tinder, after Googling who pays on a lesbian first date, I went on my first date with a woman. And that night, after walking my date to the train, I went from, oh shit, I'm gay, to, I'm gay! And I finally understood it. I finally got the cheesiness and the romantic songs and the giant romantic gestures and imagining your wedding after the first date and thinking what your monogram matching towels are gonna look like next to each other. And after my first big heartbreak, I finally understood the sad songs and putting Adele on repeat and stuffing your face with Shake Shack burgers while thinking, I will never feel happiness again. And I realized that everyone wasn't over-exaggerating all these years. It's just that I had been living my life in gray. And now I'm 32 years old, and I can fully say that love, life, and sex feels fucking amazing in color. Thank you.